All right, we should be in business. All right, here we
Cool.
have Tristan Ervin, visual artist, photographer, currently based in Los Angeles, California. He moved out there or relocated out there about 2 years ago from Atlanta, Georgia, and we're gonna kind of have like a candid conversation on, rediscovering your creative process and kind of the move and what it took you to, get to that point, from your time here in Atlanta to where you are now in LA. So, do you want to give us a little bit of background on what kind of, you know, your reasoning for the move and then what you've experienced when you first moved out there to how
hmm
things are now?
Okay. So yeah, I think. I moved out here to LA for a lot of reasons. Atlanta, Atlanta was fun, but I felt like I wouldn't be able to reach my full potential there. Um, while I was in Atlanta, I was heavy in the music scene with a couple of my buddies. Did a lot of photo shoots with a lot of different people, a lot of cool people. But something was telling me to come out here. So I graduated West Georgia. I got a job for 2 years and just saved a whole bunch of money. And then I finally moved out here in April of 2014. And I mean, the original there really was no plan per se, but it was just one of those moments where I was like, you know what, I just want to wing it and see where it goes. So I got out here, man, and my first 2 years, I was on it, man. I was at all the events. I was in for a while. I was in a different city every other weekend. I was networking. I was at these big Hollywood events
Right.
and all that. And you know what? From the outside, Hollywood and Los Angeles, it looks really, you talk about the stars and the glitz and the glamour, and I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to work with the biggest names in Hollywood, the biggest artists, et cetera, et cetera. And then it got to a point to where you really start to see Hollywood for what it really is. And let me backtrack a little bit. Also, I was in that mindset where I'm just gonna get this money, and you know how it is. You base you base what you do off of the money, and then you become very materialistic.
Right.
And my mindset has completely changed, especially these past couple months. Really, it really hit me last year, but now I'm like, I came out here for. I feel like personally, I came out here for all the wrong things. And what ended up happening is I became uninspired. I didn't want to create anymore because I just didn't want it. Like dealing with the people out here, I just did not want it anymore. So now I've gotten to a point to where very very recently I'm discovering my whole creative side again. I'm kind of going back to my roots and thinking about why I started photography to begin with. Um, and this may sound weird, but I was talking to one of my friends. She started growing her dreadlocks. I think she's one year in now, and I started growing mine about 2 months in. And when I started growing my hair out, that's kind of when I somehow just wanted to be creative again. I was telling her about it. He said, you know what? This is what she said. I'm probably the least creative person you've ever met, but ever since I started growing out my hair, I've been into. She creates gemstone necklaces.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and like she never thought she'd be into something like that, and that's a form of artistic expression for
Right.
her.
Right.
And I'm like, that's weird, but I like that. And so I'm not gonna give all my hair the credit. I mean, give my hair all the credit for me wanting to be creative again. But I do believe that in some weird way it has something to do with it. And
Right.
now I'm creating for myself because I think one thing that I've learned is once you start creating for other people, it's no longer your vision completely; it's theirs, and that's not self fulfilling. Um, I ordered a 35 millimeter camera last week, and I shot with it these past couple of days, and just took some film to go get developed. I never I shot film in college, but I never thought I would shoot film again. But now I'm wanting to explore it.
Right.
Eventually, like next week, I want to order like the chemicals and start developing my own film in my closet. And I think that's where I am now. Like Hollywood, it's not all bad. It was cool for a little bit, but after a while, man, it's like, okay, this ain't for me. But you know what? At least at least I tried it and I found out. You know,
Right.
and that there goes another reason why I moved out here. I would have rather moved out here and run into what I did run into than be back in Atlanta saying, what if I did go out there? I would never know. So
Right.
I know that was kind of long-winded, but I hope that answers your question.
No, that's good. I'd rather you give me more information than only a little bit. So yeah, like you said, beyond the excitement and the thrill of LA, you got out there and it was completely different than what you thought. I mean, you were going hard in the paint, grinding and feeling like, okay, I got it. My first few months out there, and then it slowly dwindled down into just, blah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it got to the point to where like I was questioning whether or not I still love photography. And I mean, I would ask myself, knowing deep down, hell yeah, of course you do. But it's
Right.
like you can't. Sometimes you just can't help but to question it. And that's what happened. That's what Hollywood kind of made me do. But like I said, it's more of a, you got to look into yourself and realize, you know what, you still got it. You still love
Absolutely.
it. You just have to find the right place in your life to use it and create with it. And Hollywood may not be the place. I'm not going to rule it out. You never know what could happen,
Right.
But if I ever end up back in Hollywood and working with those people, it'll be for different reasons, I think.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. Now, what kind of, because I see from the photography that you're putting out now, as far as like the shots that you posted on Instagram, is completely different than than anything I've seen you do. So what's your reasoning on that? The simplicity and the minimalism that you're starting to do now. What
Yeah.
is?
And I don't know if you've watched the minimalism doc on Netflix yet, but
I have not.
that was the Kickstarter. It's weird because I mean, you're an artist and you'll think about something for a long time, but until something triggers it, then it really gets the gears turning. And the whole minimalism thing, I was thinking about that for a long time before I watched the documentary. Maybe for 2 or 3 months, in my mind, I'm like, you know what? One day I just want to phase out all my wardrobe and just let it be all black. But I never acted on it. We watched this documentary at Steph's parents' house, and as soon as we got home, I got rid of half my clothes.
Wow.
Went to Target. Yeah, I went to Target and bought I bought 5 T-shirts. I bought this crew neck sweater, and I bought a winter jacket, all black. And I'm actually doing it now. So now the next part is the jeans. Jeans are a little more expensive than T-shirts.
Right.
But as far as the Instagram posts, man, Stephanie was asking me, she was like, so what is the purpose of the whole black and white thing when it comes to your wardrobe and these pictures you're about to post? Because this was before I started posting pictures. I'm like, you know what? I kind of view it as being 5 years old and you're in the grocery store, right? And you're in the checkout line. And the whole time you're not thinking about the items like the candies in the checkout line until you get there, and it's a distraction.
Right.
And so, guaranteed, if you were that kid and you walked to the checkout and all those candies were black and white, you probably wouldn't get your attention. So I kind of view color now, not in a bad way, but it's a distraction, and I just want to keep it simple. With not warding out color completely. On my Instagram, I'll have 9 black and white photos, and I'll post 1 color picture, and that's kind of the scheme I wanna run with.
Okay.
And also in terms of because I'm uploading 3 at a time simultaneously, it's all those 3 photos are a storyline. It's just not random pictures here and there. It's a complete storyline. I want to keep it like that.
Right, and because I also noticed the captions that you put for some of these, some of them are blank, and then I think one of them says freedom, and something else. So does that go along with the storyline as well?
It does. It's there's the minimalism, and then there's and materialism. I've been so materialistic my entire life, and now I'm getting to the point to where, say for instance, I'm really bad with it's bad. When I tell you it's bad, I have a problem with holding on to receipts, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and then ordering shoes and me and Steph go to a lot of baseball games, and I like to keep the programs. It's okay, I have this stuff, but I'm gonna forget about it in a week. So why do I keep that stuff? Like,
Right.
why do I have to keep it? Like, yeah, it's a good memory and it was a great experience, but why do I have to keep it? Even like, um, this year, my favorite baseball player, David Ortiz, he retired. And as we were cleaning out a lot of, like, dude, man, I tell you, we got rid of a lot of stuff. There's literally 6 bags of clothes in trash bags behind
Wow.
now. Yeah. But like, I came across the ticket that I went to see him one last time. This is the last time I was ever going to see this guy. And I came across the ticket. I'm like, I don't need this ticket. I know that I went, and it
Right.
was cool as hell, but I'm probably not going to think about it ever again. But it's not like, in terms of like, if no one brings up, no one brings up, hey man, did you see OT? Yeah, I got a chance to see him play his last season. That's cool, but I think that's where the conversation ends.
Right.
And it's like, why do I need to keep this? It's just, yeah, it's a ticket, but it's still taking up space in my life, you know. So, yeah, man,
I think
yeah,
that's I mean, it's interesting here on this because it seems like you found a new sense of self, not only just personally or in your character, but also in your creativity with your photography. So it's like you're helping yourself on both sides.
yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like it came completely unexpected.
Dude, if you asked me like 2 months ago, where would I have these 5 bags behind me and shooting film, I was like, nah, dude, I'm good. But that's just how it happened. And like, I guess I forgot to mention like the captions on these photos. It's just thoughts that I have. It's like, why did I invest in 3 pairs of the same shoe in different colors when I could have saved that money to go overseas? So I say, um, cherish experiences, not things. There's something to that effect,
Right.
because things come and go.
They do.
Experiences are experiences. They last you a lifetime. So, and I just really, I'm clearing out everything mentally and physically. I'm just clearing everything out and trying to get to that point to where I'm starting fresh. Period. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Right. And I think that's also great because, they say a lot of clutter, whether it's physical or whether it hems us up mentally, it kind of doesn't allow us to think
Yeah,
clearly.
and when you're not allowed to think, you just get stressed out. It's just too much stress,
Right.
and you're in complete control of that.
Absolutely. So I guess to tie this into to help, our fellow, creators or designers or artists, you know, I mean, because how it came to you is pretty much unexpectedly, but in that time, were you kind of preparing yourself to be more open minded for, for what could come? I mean, or were you just, steadily staying set in your ways, and then all of a sudden, boom, is when it happened? Like,
I felt like, what, I would say it's a little bit of both. I was comfortable being set in my ways, but I knew that there had to be a change eventually. Like this, like it was one of those things. Like, this can't be it. I know something's got to change. Like, I want something to change, but in the meantime, I'm comfortable. And
right,
once you get comfortable, it takes a lot for you to even consider changing. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I was comfortable, but I needed something different. I knew I needed something different, and I wasn't doing anything about it.
right. Okay, so if someone would ask you, a fellow artist, friend, anyone would say, hey, what do you suggest I do to kind of get back to what I love, to get back to my passion, like, and
Man,
it doesn't have to be like an all set inspiring answer, but I just want to hear your take of what would you tell someone, because I feel like anybody who may watch this may be able to take something from it.
yeah, just don't don't force it. I think you and me had a conversation a couple weeks ago where, for almost a year now, I haven't done a shoot, and I was questioning, like I said earlier, I was questioning whether or not I love photography anymore, even though I knew I did.
Right.
But, and like, I want to do these photo shoots, and I want to, work with people, but I'm not motivated to do it. I don't care to do it. And one of the things, you can't put a specific date on it. You can't say, okay, I'm uninspired now, but come January 13th, I'm going to do a shoot. Because
Right.
if you force it, it's not right. It's not right. You just have to let it come. If it comes, awesome. If it doesn't, I mean, figure something out. I think we're all talented. We all like to do things, but it may not be for us. So can just continue to explore. It doesn't like if you're a painter and you're not inspired to paint anymore, pick up a camera. Maybe if you want to get some juices out, pick up a camera or write or do so, or just think about it. Like think about what you can do, because it's not the end all be all. It's not like you're never going to be creative again. You just have to, or even just take a break. Just take a break from whatever you're doing.
Right.
And that's what I did. Like I took a break intentionally, and unintentionally it extended out to a year because I just didn't want to do anything creative. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Like
does.
bottom line, just don't force yourself to be creative, because it's gonna suck, and you're gonna hate yourself even more for it.
Right. Good points all around, man. And I think from, your explanation and, your side, your journey, I think, people could look at that and listen and feel, comfortable is not the word I want to use, but they can look on where they're at and say, you know what? It took him a year to get back into what he loved. So it's okay if I take a month off. It's okay if I take 3 months. I think people, will feel better about it.
Yeah,
If they take a break from something, or
yeah,
how
and
long it
like
may
I mean
take.
there's also a sense of pressure that you get, like, oh, if I don't pick up a camera, people are gonna think this or that, or I'm not gonna get this or that, or but you got to be selfish with your creativity, I guess. And you have to contain it as much as you want to contain it. You have to express it as much as you want to express it, and you can't let anyone dictate that, because that I mean, no one likes to do anything under pressure either, especially being creative.
Right. Right. So I think the bottom line is just don't stop living. Just
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
continue to live and, be open minded and outgoing, and you
yeah.
know
I mean, and the thing is, it's natural. Like I did this. You're going to beat yourself up about it. That's just something that you're going to do. I mean, I used to go days without. Ask Steph. I would go days without saying a word because I was just so frustrated with myself. Like I just didn't want to do. I didn't want to have anything to do with anything. But I mean, I got past it. Of course, you're gonna beat yourself up, but you're gonna have to get past it. So, yeah.
right. So one more thing in that, the days where you would beat yourself up about it, or the days where you would be quiet, what would you say, like if you had to sum it up one word, like what was your kind of place of refuge, like your comfort in throughout all of that? And it doesn't, and I don't want you to get too personal, and talk about whether it's, within in a relationship or anything like that, but for you, for like personally, what was like the one thing that you thought about that just kept you sane through it all, that just kept you like, okay, I may be solace, in my own head and just be quiet, but like what's gonna keep me just, you know
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. One is that we all get in these situations where you know better, like you know better. Even when I'm beating myself, I'm like, dude, you know better. You're not going to be like this. Snap out of it.
right.
And I mean, I'm lucky to have someone like Steph who sometimes pushes me out of it. She knows that like if I'm upset with myself, I'm not going to want to talk about it until I'm ready to talk about it. But in that moment, she's still like very supportive. She doesn't force conversation out of me until I'm ready to talk about it.
Right.
So, and I would say that like for anyone who has a significant other, just it's amazing what they can do for you without having to really do anything. And I mean, for those who don't, I mean, I'm sure you still have friends that you can go to when you're ready to talk about it. But I mean, everyone knows once you're in a situation like that, you feel like crappy, and you know better. You know,
Right.
you know eventually you're going to dig yourself out of it. But I mean, that's what it takes for me. I don't really do anything to bring myself out of it. I just do. Get over it. It might take you 2 days, but get over it, and then you snap out of it, and then you're back to normal. So
Right. It's
yeah,
almost like a breakup. It's like time
yeah,
heals
yeah,
everything.
exactly. Yeah, time goes by. You're not going to feel like crap forever. So just, and I'm not going to lie and say, I mean, I was in that mood like 2 weeks ago. I was like that. I'm like, I forgot what triggered it, but I went into my shell for like 2 days, man. I was there, and then I snapped out of it. And I can't say it's not going to happen again. And maybe not. But I feel like you get stronger each time you get out of it. So,
True. Good
yeah.
point. Good point. Absolutely. Well, Tristan, thank you, man. I appreciate you
Yeah,
taking
of
the time
course.
to discuss this with me. I think it's something that we all struggle with, even with, me and the blog. I tried to start this project, years ago, back in 2011, 2012, and it just didn't hit, like it is now. But I was inspired to start it up again. Again, I think we all hit that point, or we hit that wall, and somehow we just need to, bounce back, whether it takes years or whether it takes months.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I know me and you, we're artists, and we're definitely not the only ones who go through this. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to appreciate you doing what you're doing, because I know I definitely do. So I think you asked me earlier, like, it was to the effect of, like, what inspires me, I guess. Seeing all my creative friends still doing what they've been doing since I've known them. That, to me, that's cool as hell. Like, you're doing your blog, Leslie's still doing music, Baby, they're still performing. Like, all those guys went to college, but they're still doing the same thing years later. They're not quitting, and I don't want to quit either. Y'all are, like, inadvertently preventing me from quitting. Period. Like, that's and that, to me, that's awesome, man. So, like I said, what you're doing is inspiring, and all my other creative friends, man, like, the fact that they're still going, it's awesome, and it drives me.
Great. Thank you. I mean, and I appreciate you saying that. That means a lot, for sure.
Yeah.
So, as far as what can we expect, are you going to post the film that you're getting developed, or maybe?
Yeah. Well, pending how they come out, because I haven't shot film since 2010. So, I mean, like I said, I would like to know what I'm doing, but there's a huge difference between film and digital. You can delete a picture digitally, but once you take that picture on film, that's it. Either it's perfect or it sucks. So we're gonna find out. But like I said, depending on what they come out, I may or may not be posting them, and I'll just have to go to my second roll of film. So,
all
yeah.
right, that sounds like a plan, man. All right. Well, hey, of course, I'm going to keep in touch with you and everything like that. And
Yeah, definitely.
Continue to go back and forth. But I'm gonna end this recording, and we'll chop it up a little bit more after. All right.
Okay. Cool.
All right.